Welcome to Ceasefire. My name is John,
And I'm Caleb.
and we're going to be going over September's top 10 list. Remember, this is all speculatory, and we base it off of all the games played that are recorded. So that includes RTTs, GTs, anything bigger than a GT. I think that's the biggest because
I
that
think it's
goes
just
up
those
to
two.
like 100 or whatnot. Yeah, but this can be all your small games at your locals, right? So let's get
Yep, absolutely. So this is every game played
uh,
that we can get our hands on, pretty much.
let's go over a review of what we kind of go over. So we score these out of the number of games that are played. So what's hot and what's not. The real win percentage. So every win that doesn't count against itself, or like it's playing the army, it's playing itself. The average
Mirror
points
matches
scored.
are not counted in real win percentage.
Yep, the average points scored, and then GT placements, and we weight those off of how we feel those are supposed to kind of weigh. So we'll get down to it. You want to start with our honorable mentions? We have a
Yes,
decent amount of
so
them.
at the bottom of our honorable mentions, so these guys that are in our honorable mentions are just below our cutoff point for the top 10. So at the very bottom of that is Adeptus Mechanicus, Tyranids, Tau, Orcs, Dark Angels, and Deathwatch. And to me, that's kind of surprising. I would have thought that Tyranids might be a little bit further up. This September is not with their codex though,
Correct.
so
Correct. This is right
never
before their
mind.
codex is going to
Yep.
drop. So we'll probably see a spike. We saw a huge spike in their place, right? They're at 5,093 games, right? So there's
Yes.
tons of people playing them. And I
Yep.
think that comes with the good and bad. Because you have,
And that's actually the second highest played army on the list.
yeah, you have
Well, out of all of the factions, sorry, second highest out of all the factions. The only thing that beats them still is
Space Marines.
Space Marines. Yep.
Yeah.
Which isn't surprising. That's GW's their baby.
Yeah. Yep. And they're the easiest faction to start. Uh,
Yes, absolutely.
but I think we could get right into that top 10.
Yep, the number 10 spot coming in is Chaos Knights. Um, with so in September that was with the new
Balanced data
the
slate.
Ballast Data Slate. Yep. So the towering rule changed, so that they can now toe touch, but they can't see through ruins anymore. I think that's a big hit, and that's why you're not seeing them as high as they were last time.
Not for Chaos Knights, I would say. The biggest thing for Chaos Knights is they can hide behind them now. So that's actually why Chaos Knights, I think, made the top 10, because they weren't in the top 10 before.
Oh, they weren't. Okay.
No, no.
It
Yep.
was Imperial Knights that were still
Yeah.
in the top 10.
It was the Imperial Knights, because they're the shooty faction.
Yep. Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. And so wait, they can hide behind
Yes. So
towering?
they can be obscured as long as they're not touching.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so that's
That is
big.
something I missed.
Yeah, so that's big for Chaos Knights because they have a stratagem to be able to run through walls, so or like without measuring up and over, and depending on how tall it is, but you could like run through a four-story building, right? And that would that could get your enemy off guard, especially with one of their melee, like the tyrants. Man, they hit hard. If not, when in
Yes.
doubt, go check out our last game that we played. You can kind of see it in action. Hopefully, it's not too much of a one-sided. We did play Tau against them, so check
Yeah,
it
that'd
out
be
though.
interesting to see how that all went. But yeah, Chaos Knights being at the bottom, not surprising that they're in the top 10. I still think towering units and armies in general are really good, and Chaos Knights,
Yeah,
I think, are really cool and kind of an underrepresented faction. You guys should play them more often. They're really cool.
there was a big points drop in one of the. I don't know the specific war dog. It's the one that is melee, and it can like 1v1. Basically, remember that squad of 10 custodies can easily kill like 30, like 90% of that squad by itself.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, if it got the charge in, and they didn't fight first, right? If
Yeah.
things didn't happen, but
All right. So moving up to number 9, this one shocks me. Space Wolves.
yes,
I don't know how they managed to do this, but their win rate for Space Wolves is 49.96%.
probably our closest to 50% flat on here.
Yeah, that's insane to me that they have that high of a win rate, and an average point scored per game is 48.73, which is really good.
Yes.
Anything really above like 47.5 points per game is pretty insane.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're sitting pretty high. Now they don't play it a lot. I would say they're played, but you won't come across them all too often. They're very hero hammer focused with their
Yep.
points drops. A lot of their points drops were focused around some of their heroes, and you're gonna see them come with the only reason why I think they're sitting below 50% is because assassinate is really good against them, just as
Yeah.
a static secondary. So like
And go ahead.
if your player takes that, they're almost, depending on what the list is, they're almost guaranteed to score half of their secondary points off of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And surprisingly, not surprisingly, these are our lowest represented faction at 1,300 players, 1,300 games, sorry, in our top 10 list. So they, even being underrepresented, they are still managing to be up there.
Yep. Well,
Uh, Moving on to number 8, surprising they scored this low, Diptus Custodes, but not surprising that they're in top 10. Their nerf, they're no longer being able to take 10-man squads. Your points got hit, correct?
yep. There was a point increase on our basic squad, so our squad of 5 went up. I think was it 5 points a model or 10 points a model?
So, and even with those nerfs and the changes to devastating wounds, which they no longer get a save against devastating wounds, so their feel no pains no longer work since they're not mortal wounds. Still representing themselves in top 10 is pretty good. They are our second most represented. No, they're not. Third most represented faction at 3650.
Yep. And
Uh,
they're pulling off some GT wins, some second places and third places. So I feel like they're a good gatekeeper army. If you
they
can't
have
beat a
few
Custodes
first
army,
places too.
yeah,
They have 2 first places.
if you can't beat a Custodes army, your list needs to be a little bit reworked, right? They're,
Yes, they're a staple. They're a staple army that you have to be able to beat.
Yep.
They have our lowest win rate percentage though, 47.5 win rate percentage, and our lowest, not our lowest, second lowest points
score.
average per game.
Yep.
But still managing to squeak out. I still think there's really really good players out there that are playing Custodes that just know what they're doing.
Yep. Definitely.
So number 7, Mason would be very proud of this.
Yep.
The World Eaters.
They have another increase in their wins, right? They were just sitting around 50% the last time we checked this. They're at a 51.82% win rate. They're doing great. They have zero win, or like they have 0 wins in the GTs. They got a fourth placer in there, but oh my, their
win rate percentage is insane.
Yeah, they keep going
Like
up.
that's really good.
I
Their points average too is pretty good.
They had some points buffs, so they dropped in points on berserkers and a couple other things, I believe. But that showing that helped a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised they've made it into our top 10 with only one fourth place GT win, but with such a high win percentage, they're
with a decent amount of games, right? They're at 2,300 games ish.
2,300 games. Yeah, that's a pretty decent amount of games.
Yeah.
That's around the middle of our pact of what games are played.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good average. But yeah, I mean, heck, I'm happy to see a good melee army up there, so I won't complain.
Same.
On to number 6, those Chaos Space Marines, the generic Space Marines with spikes.
Yep. A decent amount of people were playing them. I'm actually surprised about that because
They're our most represented faction, the most games played at 4,100.
in the top 10 list. Now, they came out with some wins in GTs. They got 2 GT wins in September, and we did include the first week of October. And then they have a third, fourth, a second,
They
third,
have a
fourth.
single win in second, third, and fourth. Yes.
Yep.
They are, I think, Chaos Space Marines right now are in the best I think I've seen them probably in the last 2 editions.
Yeah. When they said that was the year of chaos, they never were the greatest. There were a couple like broken combos type thing, but like it wasn't like the hot stuff, right?
Yeah, and me being a Chaos Space Marine lover, in a sense, I like my Death Guard, but everything Chaos all swings together. I really like this. I like them seeing them sit at that 6th place spot. It's good to see. I'm glad we're actually getting represented out here finally at like I said, the most played faction, most games in our top 10 at 4,100 is really really high. So Good on y'all. On to that 5th place, who is on our middle of the road, Imperial Knights.
Another
Uh,
gatekeeper army, I would say.
yeah, so you have to, if you cannot beat Knights, if you cannot beat Custodes, you have to think about your list. And not even just beat like, you don't have to kill them if you don't want to like worry about destroying them all, but you do need to be able to outscore them and survive.
Yep.
It's a huge thing. If you can't do it, yes, rethink your list.
Yep. They're coming in with a one placement in every category for the GT, first, second, third, and fourth. And their win percentage is still, I would say, on the good side after the Overwatch nerf, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're sitting at a 51.38%. And they're sitting at a high points, I would say. They're 52 average points. Almost
52 and a
53.
half.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost 53. That's really, really good. I think that's the highest I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, Eldar were higher at one point.
Oh, they were like 60, weren't they?
Yeah.
60 or 70,
It
something
was
like that. Something insane.
it was ridiculous.
But yeah, Imperial Knights, it's really interesting to see these armies that in the earlier editions were not good at all. They were so bad, GW could not figure out how to let them play and play well, and I think they figured it out.
Yeah.
Like, they're really good.
I feel like they had they have the Tau issue. Tau where they only have one thing they are good at. Where Imperial Knights are, you have so few things, they have to be good, but they can't
Yep.
be too good.
Now, I wonder how bad the Insane Bravery was for them.
Oh, I bet you that was huge. So like a lot of armies spamming all the you do damage to something and it makes it take a test right away.
Yep.
You can make some of them fail. Is probably huge because like
Yeah, because
if you're
they
on a
don't
point,
get their OBSEC
Yeah.
and
if you're on a point, you just don't hold it anymore, and you have so few units. So like you can
Yep.
make like the same unit take it like 3 times.
so I wonder how big that Insane Bravery kick was for them. Hopefully it wasn't too bad, but I have a feeling that one kind of stung. But good, because I don't like people being able to spam Insane Bravery, because that was stupid.
It was.
On to our number 4. Army I never thought we'd see in a top 10. Leagues of Otan. They're up here. They're doing it good.
I think they're
Uh,
getting represented pretty well with 2,050 games. That's pretty good.
The highest spike in win rate percentage I have ever seen.
What were they at? Like 18?
30%.
Oh, they were at 30. Yeah. Around.
30% to a 50, almost a 56% win rate.
So the reason why we have them at place 4 is because their win rate just went through the roof, and they're scoring an average of 50, basically 51 points per game.
Per game. Yep.
Yes.
And yet they still haven't won any GTs.
No, I feel like it's a learning curve right now, right? Everyone's because no one was playing them before. Now you have to relearn the army, relearn the rules, relearn what goes into what again.
Orbs might be worth buying. I think they're cool, but I don't want to spend money.
Same.
But yeah, their change that they're able to have at the start of the game, that they have so many judgment tokens on things now, is a huge buff for them. Huge. And the fact that you're also getting CP when you kill those units. I mean, yes, you only get it once if you kill something with a judgment token on it, but that's 2 extra CP on the top of all the other CPs you get again. That's a huge spike.
Yeah.
Because you can throw, if you want to, you can throw it on a less useful unit that's easy to kill, just so you can spike CP right away in the game.
At least one of them, right? You don't have to do it. You have 4 options.
You have 4.
Yeah.
You have 4 of them.
You have 4
So
options.
at the start of the game, 4 things get judgment tokens, and then things will gain judgment tokens as the game rolls on.
And it's 2 judgment tokens, right? It's not even like
Yeah.
it's 1. It's
It's
like
not
you
just
already
one. You get 2.
Yeah.
You fully stack 4 units in your opponent's army to get a reroll. Is it rerolls of 1, or is it
You get
add
plus
1 to the
one.
hit and add 1 to the wound?
Yeah, you
Plus
get
1 to
plus
hit, plus 1 to wound, which is bonkers to be able to put on 4 units just right off the bat against knights. Every big knight reroll plus 1 to hit, plus 1 to wound.
I'm glad they turned them around, right?
Yeah,
That's all I have
absolutely.
to say.
Because they came out real sad, and just it's good to see a faction. GW went, okay, we screwed up here. Here you go, we'll fix it, and now they're good, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, you might see some points nerfs to them if they start balling out of control, right? In the next wave of fixes, which might
Yes.
be, I think that's January or February or something like that.
Now, I will say, I don't think with how this is, because like, yeah, being able to choose 4 units for judgment tokens is really strong against really elite armies, but against like Astra Militarum or anything like that, it's not going to be that big a deal. So they're going to be good against some things, not so good against others. I think they were just a solid army all around. Just their base rules were bad, so I'm glad they put them in where they actually need to be.
Alrighty.
So third place, another spot for chaos. Thousand Suns, Leagues of Votan again. Thousand Suns. This doesn't surprise me at all.
Actually, it kind
Um,
of did. They got their Termies, which do the devastating wound combo, got a points nerf, so they went up in points. I think they went up like 5 points a model or something like that.
yeah. Which I mean, that's fine, but Thousand Suns are just really good.
Yeah,
Like invuls on all of your stuff, good saves.
removing invuls on things.
Yep. Giant psychers being rude.
Magnus being almost impossible to kill.
Yep. I think Thousand Suns is just. It's not surprising to see them in the top 10, like at all. I'm super glad to see them up here.
And a decent amount of representation from the Thousand Suns. What?
2100.
Yeah, 2,100 games, and they got 2 wins in the GT, and then 1-1-1 for a second,
I will
third,
say this though, their average points per game is kind of low, 46.7.
Yeah,
So
I think
they're right below the cusp of like what I would say they're average. I think they're actually maybe just a little bit below average. I think most armies are sitting around 47 points.
what I think is happening is they're denying points, right? They're playing the game of I'll score more than you, but I'm not going to score the most.
I'm not going to score a lot, but I'll score more than you,
Yeah.
type of thing. Yeah, absolutely. Which is, hey, that's a strategy.
It
You're not
is.
going to look as good on top 10 lists and stuff like that from it.
Or
but-
tiebreakers.
Or yes, tiebreakers too. But hey, still swinging out with two first places and a single first, second, third, and fourth.
They're doing good.
Obviously doing good. So good on them. On to our second place. Something that I don't know how they got up here. But Black Templar.
Yeah.
Not a single first place, second place, third place, or fourth place finish for GTs. But their win percentage, I think, is the highest right now at almost 57%.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. So right now with the Space Marine changes that are coming up, they're probably gonna drop. They probably won't be on this top 10 list again because of Oath of Moment is getting nerfed.
The
Yeah.
nerf to Oath of the Moment is. What are the. I don't know what they're changing to Oath of the Moment, to be honest with you. I just know it's getting nerfed.
So it used to be reroll hits, all hits
And
and
wounds.
to the
Yep.
selected unit, and now it's just hits.
I'm okay with that. Honestly, I'm okay with
I think it's great too.
that. Like, rerolling hits and wounds was kind of insane because you could just focus fire something big on your opponent's side.
Yep.
You still get to, but now you actually just have to wound like a normal person.
I'm gonna be honest here. I actually don't know what's up with the Black Templars. I haven't played against them since 9th edition, and they were meh in 9th edition.
They're just a big melee faction. They're scoring really well, 51, almost 52 points on average per game,
Mm-hmm.
which is anything above 50 points a game is bonkers.
It
Like
is.
I think there's only 5 factions that are above 50 points.
Yeah, out of the games they've been playing, they're crazy. I'm surprised they haven't made a top 10, right? Or made a GT win.
I'm sure they're probably not the greatest against some of the really high tiered armies that they're probably facing.
They also aren't represented as much as some of our other armies, only at 1,500
Correct.
games. So maybe that's why you haven't seen them in a GT. Maybe just there's a lack of players or the lack of
The
experience
lack of
players.
very skilled players, yeah.
Yeah, because they could be playing, our number 1 army.
Yep, and what a surprise, it's Eldar
Woo.
again.
I still thought they would be sitting at a fat 10% win rate above us, to be honest.
52% win rate,
Yeah, they dropped a lot.
which is kind of low.
Went from
for
like
them.
70, like
It went from a 70% win
high
rate to
60s
52.
70. Yeah, to 52.
They're scoring 51 points per game, but they have by far still the most
GT wins.
GT wins: 7 first
placements.
place, 8 second places, 7 third, and 8 fourth place finishes.
Now, I will say some of those placements in there are Yanari, right? So that's the combo between Jakari and
Eldar.
Eldar. But I think it's because of the Eldar units, not the Drakari
Yeah.
units. So I kind of just included them in the Eldar. Once I see some Dark Eldar units becoming like must takes, and like in every game,
Yeah.
that I will probably swing that back over to them. But
And I will say they are our second most represented faction at 3,700 games.
yeah,
So there's a lot of players that play them, and there's a lot of good players that play them because they're really tricky. They have a lot of cool stratagems that you get to do.
well, so
So
I think
being good at them.
we're seeing
Go ahead.
that win percentage be hurt because the good players are really good, but now your bad players aren't getting a free win.
Correct, because they're just not as good.
They're not like, if I take this unit, no one can stop it.
Yeah. So, but hey, obviously, still just a fantastic army. Like insane throughout everything. Because at
Yeah, they had points nerfs to like almost half their army. They had rule changes. They had some of the just core rules screwed them. Like they went through and just a bunch of like nerfs, but everything else still looked good that didn't get nerfed because they wasn't seeing a lot of play. Their army is just the best data
their
sheets
rules are
out
just
there.
so good.
Yeah,
They're so consistent.
their army rule was probably the best army rule for amongst everybody, and
Yep.
and then all their data sheets. If you had to compare every data sheet to a data sheet, their data sheets were just better. All of them
Yeah,
were.
absolutely. They're a bonkers army still. Hopefully, other armies when their codexes start coming out get to start stacking up to them. I think everyone who plays Warhammer understands there's power creep.
Yep.
Once books start coming out, everything will catch up with each other, and then hopefully
The,
books will be fully out the end of next year.
yeah, the Tyranids are already getting ready. You could see by their upbeat in games played, because in
Yep.
August what we had for their games were where are they at? 40. They were 1,000 games behind, right? So
Yep.
extra 1,000 games in 1 month. Yeah, you
Oh
can.
yeah, they're
People are excited.
so, and that's awesome. I love being able to see that is that people are actually wanting to play the armies more. They're excited for that codex to come out, which I think it did. I believe it was released last week.
If it wasn't last week, it's definitely this week.
Yeah. But
Oh,
well, if by the time this video comes out, it'd have been
oh,
last weekend.
correct. It'd be either last weekend or the weekend before, right?
Yes. So I think it was the first last week of September is when it came out.
Yeah,
I think it came out on the 30th.
we're excited to be back. We're
Yes.
going to be trying to put out some more content, and we're gonna hopefully have some of it edited so that way it just is better content.
Yeah. Hopefully everything's able to work out. Hopefully you guys are still enjoying everything. Let us know in the comments. If you guys wouldn't mind liking, sharing, subscribing, it really does help us out.
Immensely.
Yeah, we are out here doing this for you guys, and we'd like to see that you guys are actually enjoying it. So, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Well, rest of your week, actually.
Peace.
Bye.